Hi, I'm Megan, and welcome to the Intermish, the show where it's literally the length of an NHL intermission, where we discuss the NHL, teams, memes, trades, picks, and I don't even really have a setup for this. I need us all to hear this.
Yesterday to get on the plane to come back here. Here's Crosby again. On the backhand, he scores! Oh, scratch my back with a hacksaw. Sidney Crosby!
Well, it's happy trade line day. The trade line is a word I've created, so I'm gonna trademark it? I don't know. There's a Roger from American Dad thing there. But everything is awful, and everyone's favorite fourth lines are gone, and everyone's just emotionally trying to recover. So I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm going to talk about how everything is awful, and everyone, it feels like this scene from Community.
I don't know what to do. My whole brain is crying.
Like, that's the NHL right now, with it being close to playoff time push, and it comes down to April, where holy shit, you really want like things to go well, but stuff happens. But anyway, I also want to address the fact that like ever since Four Nations, someone pointed out the quote that Brandon Hagel said, that some people were playing out there for their country and others were playing out there for the camera. And it really makes you think, huh? You know, just the boys going out there. But no, really, if the Tkachuk brothers are the faces of the NHL, I highly suggest we set ourselves on and take a step back and look at the beautiful face of the NHL, who is a nice gentleman who has aged phenomenally and isn't a who isn't a dumb fuck as a player. Sorry for the words there, but they are. Both Tkachuk brothers are idiots. While highly skilled, they are still idiots. And quite frankly, both of them, their injuries, I'm not happy that they got injured because, well, that would be satanic. But also at the same time, I mean, you go out and you start beating other people's faces in. What do you expect to happen? Like, what do you expect to happen to you? Also, along the lines of, like, how many media appearances they've made, it's insane. Like, I don't know. But I digress. Also, I would like to just say I'm really happy for the Gaudreau family, despite, like, having the darkest year of their lives, that hockey has continuously proven time and time again that despite what team we root for, despite, you know, our differences and whatever, we can still come together and like lift up a family in a way that desperately needs it. And Johnny Hockey forever, guys, for real. And it's going to be really hard for me to talk about like Columbus and Calgary when it comes to that time. I just always think of his wife, Meredith, who seems like an awesome person. But no, I'm refilming this because, well, I have a migraine in the back of my head. I can't see anything. I have to go work out. There's a lot happening, so I have to get this done. But before I get into today's topic, which a lot of you aren't gonna like, but I don't care. It's an issue, and it's a topic that I'm really like, we should look into this, and we should really, you know, take me a little seriously here. Granted, this is also my opinion, which I'm not saying outlandish shit for clicks and views, but that's right, Paul. I'm calling your ass out. You old, washed up motherfucking piece of shit who has to sell shitty vodka. Once again, I'm so sorry I said that. I'm gonna just edit that out. But I pity you. I get you're supposed to talk trash about other teams and all that stuff, but dude, your significant weird obsession and hatred of the Detroit Red Wings, my team, which have some journalistic integrity. Like, I get journalism is dying painfully by their own hand, but you, of all people, it's rich coming from a guy who, let me cross my legs real quick, who played 7 years in the league, scored 6 goals, and only was put into the minors to get traded every time he was in there because nobody wanted him. And it's insane how many training camps you failed at and how many times you've, like, I wonder what it's like riding the coattails of Ryan Whitney, whatever. riding the coattails of that guy who his back's got to be hurting from carrying your ass all the way up to where you are now, because without him, you would still be doing what, Arizona? No, wait, that's not even a team anymore. They're Utah, but it's still Arizona at the same time. Like, you would still be doing, like, radio, like, broadcast live play-by-play, like, for Arizona if they were still around. Like, and you're, like, I pity you. I genuinely feel bad for you because you have to stay constantly relevant by saying really dumb, shitty things about, like, if it comes to, like, Connor Bedard, or it comes to, like, a different team, or if it's, like, saying you took credit for Brad Marchand. And I get people are going to say this is good for the culture of hockey. No, he's not. He's an arrogant asshole whose head has gotten way too big for his shoulders at this point, and his dumb little ears. I got made fun of for my ears growing up. I'm allowed to make that joke. But I feel genuinely bad for a guy who has to shill shitty-ass vodka and has to sit there at the TNT table and know that you are a less accomplished member of those analyst panels. And I'm really hoping one day they let Gretzky off the leash and he beats your ass. Also, he yells. If you've never noticed, like, he yells. He talks like this, like me and Gretz the other day. Like, it's like that all the time. Turn it down. But I pity you, Paul Bissonnette. I truly do. I'm sorry your career wasn't as successful as your parents and everyone else had hoped it would be. But knowing that you couldn't really go to school, I guess, at age, like, you probably have a... Did he go to college? No, he didn't. Like, but we're getting off the point here. Bottom line, Paul Bissonnette, I feel so bad for you that you have to constantly say stupid shit so you can stay relevant. And I feel bad for Ryan Whitney, because, like, dude. Anyway, so, there goes me ever having Paul Bissonnette on this show. I don't give a shit. What am I gonna do? Have, like, the Nathan Felder ass interview? Have a Nathan Felder... Wait. Okay. That would kick. That would be, like, insane. Anyway, we're going to talk about today's topic, which is... I tweeted on... If you don't follow us on Twitter, please follow us on Twitter at The Intermish. I tweeted I wanted to hear people's hot take opinions on, just hockey in general. And I got some really good ones. So, like, I got from... One moment. I said, and I'm going to start with what today's video is basically. I said that Macklin Celebrini is what the NHL wanted Connor Bedard to be in every shape and form. That was it. I got, in response from Jason at Bassin Bruins, Montreal will be the team to bring back the cup to Canada. I agree 100%. And so it is written, and so it shall be. Like, Montreal, which next week is, by the way, the drunk history of the Montreal Canadiens, is the oldest team in the NHL. In fact, they are older than the NHL itself. They predate the NHL. That's how old this team is. They have won more Stanley Cups than any. They have the 21. 21. No, that's not the point. But they are an established team, and I think it would only make sense for it to be LeBlanc, Le Rouge, LeBlanc, Le Blouche, LeBlanc, Le Bleu, La Roche. I think it would, only make sense that they be the ones to, like, bring it on back. And someone said, Bedard is on the... And then someone, my friend, literally tweeted back, Bedard is on the worst NHL team of all time. Come on now. And I said, and Celebrini isn't, because both are in relatively a same boat, but they have different captains, GMs, team franchises, etc. Put Bedard, and then my friend said if you put Bedard on the San Jose team, he would probably be flying by now. They're both on equally bad teams. One has just the support he needs, is my response, which is absolutely true. And then someone, shout out Bobby. Bobby said Crosby has been and always will be a better ambassador for hockey than Gretzky, and I agree with that 110%. And then someone said a player with less points on a worse team, that's not a hot take, it's dog shit. To which I then responded with this, not my best, but like... But anyway, let's get into my point here, which is I honestly think that the NHL made Connor Bedard out more than he really was. And he is I do not want to take away from the fact that he is a phenomenal player. He is insane to watch. And when he's having his moments, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Like you blink and he's gone. Like it's insane. However, he has a lot of problems right now. But let's get into some things quickly about these two divas and our fair Verona. and our fair Gary Bettman. Which, retire, bitch. Hate you, Gary Bettman. I've been booing you since I was a child. I wrote some stats down here for you. Let's get to know this diva. Connor Bedard was labeled at the age of like 17, 18, the future of hockey. And that in itself is already debilitating, I can assume, as someone who puts, and I think everybody does, puts a lot of internalized pressure on ourselves. And we want to see, the best come out of us. We want to perform well. I mean, everyone in some way, shape, or form is a pathological people pleaser. That's right. I quoted Taylor Swift on a hockey show. Sue me. And I mean, he was the second first-round pick that Chicago had since Patrick Kane, aka the sewer rat. Look, I'm going to get to him at some point. We're going to air him out at one point. But until then, I need y'all to really get off your knees for Patrick Kane and just get over it. Even though he's on my team, I'm not happy though, but I digress. In the minors, everyone wanted Bedard. Because Connor was putting up, in 1 year he had 51 goals. Next year he had 71 goals, respectfully. And then his first year finally came into the NHL, and it was like the Princess of Genovia had shown up to the NHL. And everyone was like, Connor Bedard, oh my God. People were buying the ticket packages. People were being season ticket holders that they haven't been in forever. And he experienced one hell of a first year. I mean, he got his jaw broken. He learned what it was like to have to be the one to carry a team. But unfortunately, it didn't end the way they wanted it to go, obviously. And it's not going to end the way that they wanted to go. His first year, he ended with 22 goals, 36 assists, and a lot is continuously changing around Connor Bedard. It's like the song Landslide, kind of, almost. Children get older, and I'm getting older too. Try not crying during that Mission Level Impossible. But there have been several inconsistencies within that team that have kind of prevented him from being his peak and achieving what he needs to achieve. This year, he has a sophomore slump. He's also had a coaching change. With coaching changes comes new coaches that are coming in and out. He's had, people who are on his line be traded in and out. He has a D-line that isn't really helping the goalie at all. Like, they don't even block shots. And, I saw this meme, and I laughed really hard, and it's kind of like that. Like, he is trying to be everything for that team at once, and he can't. And he's only one little Michael Cera, George Michael Bluth, Cousin Greg if he played hockey. That's what I call him. He's trying. And, he sees a lot of bad shit written about him, and how good is this kid actually? However, he hasn't really been nurtured in the way that he needs to be in terms of, the people around him. Like, Nick Folgiano, I think, has been a really good guy to, to have him around and keep him, teaching him things and helping him grow and develop. But this year he's had no major injuries, knock on wood, but he's had a 16 game goal slump where he's not putting up the numbers he typically does. But he's had a lot of change and a lot of turmoil happen within that organization and within his own team. with that being said, you also look at him do social media stuff. The kid looks dead inside. The kid really does look dead inside. And I'm not saying there is anything wrong with Connor Bedard. I'm just saying this organization will age him by 50 years. He's going to be Brock Nelson in the next 2 years, looks-wise. Count me down. And I don't want that for him. I want him to have a productive NHL career where he does eventually bring home a cup somewhere. It will not be Chicago, and I'm going to tell you that much. He's going to have a very rough time. And I want the most for him. But we pivot over to Macklin Celebrini, a.k.a. Burt Macklin FBI. This kid is thriving. He is San Jose's Bedard in a sense of he is also a first-round pick. However, instead of spending years in the Canadian minor leagues, he is also Canadian. He went to Boston College, roomed with Will Smith, who is now his teammate, and, has put up so far in his career, like in his rookie season, has put up 20 goals so far, 26 assists, and 46 points. And he's going to lap Connor Bedard, his rookie numbers. And this kid has also struggled with injuries. He didn't really get to play his first, couple of games that he should have due to injuries. And, in college, the kid put up 64 goals. And I know that they are very different leagues, like the Canadian minors and the NCAA men's hockey. But the game is the game, no matter what. Game is game, game recognized game, no matter what. So, Macklin Celebrini. However, if you look at pictures, you compare the two, you look at Macklin Celebrini, kid's having a blast. Yeah, his team's not the greatest. Yeah, they're losing some games. But they beat Toronto, and they looked like they won the freaking Stanley Cup. It was insane. He's playing with people he considers his friends. He has one of his best friends on that team. They look like they're having a blast, despite the fact that they are losing. You look over at Bedard, lights are on, but nobody's home. This kid is being nurtured in a way that he's having his talents very much so nurtured, and he has people who are willing to learn, hey, this is how you do things. Oh, cool. Let me do things. He has teammates who are at most consistent. The other does not. The other is having to, be the dad in a sense of, no. This is not what we're doing. We're not doing this. This is how we do it. You can tell there are very big differences in the two, but the teams are still the same. They are both the same. How do I put it this way? They're both shiny and still somewhat new. They are both the same age, I think. And the difference is, key clearly here, one has an organization that is nurturing and supporting him in a way that he's happy to be there. He is living his best life. He isn't living alone in an apartment like Bedard is. He's living with a former player who is sort of guiding him, and he has one of his best friends and roommate from college there. He has guys who are relatively his age on that team who are, going through the same things he is. He's learning. It's a learning curve, the NHL is. You can be there for, I made this joke once that, your father figure in the NHL can be 5 years younger than you, has been playing there for 4 years, and you're still there, one of them has the clear structure to thrive and grow. The other one has some major inconsistencies in terms of coaching, in terms of players, in terms of who's in and who's out, having to learn. He is constantly having to learn with new people. They are switching up their lines, I think, every other day. This one, he knows. I hope I've done a solid way of conveying, I'm using the wrong word. Like I said, I have a migraine. I can't see anything really right now. And a lot of this will be edited. Hopefully I've conveyed in a way to you that there is a very big difference, but they are both the same, but one is exactly what the NHL wanted, which is Macklin Celebrini, who is just happy to be there, who is very much happy-go-lucky, who is thriving, having everything he has wanted since he is a child happen, and he's insanely grateful, and an organization is there to lift him up and to back him up and to get him to where they want to be, which they are also, both of these franchises are relatively rebuilding. But this one, they're shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And ever since they got rid of Bowman, it's not really been the best. And I feel really bad for, like, Chicago Blackhawk fans. Truly. Yeah, that hurts to say. That pains me to say that. Whereas I also feel bad for Boston at this moment in time. Anyway, so hopefully, let me know your opinions below. I think I'm kind of right in terms of everything. But my opinion is going to change. You can do that. And anyway, I will see you guys next week. Next week's episode will be the drunk history of the Montreal Canadiens. So please buckle up, because it's gonna get real bad. Follow us on Twitter, and please subscribe, like, whatever. And yeah, just call your therapist, because the trade line is not for the weak. And hopefully I will see you guys next Friday.